Yeah, g'day, Bush Camping Tools here. Well, I've got this great piece of new kit from Raidops. This is called the CIC Bunker Buster. Essentially it's a titanium capsule with an O-ring seal, and we'll have a look at that in a minute, with a ceramic ball which is being pressed fit into this end. So that ceramic ball, because that's a sphere, can be a glass breaker, so you can hold it in your fist like this and smash that down. And because it's a ceramic ball, it's got a very almost infinitely small point on it because of a sphere. So remember, pressure equals force over area. So you've got a small, big, you're going to apply a big force. The area is extremely small, so you're going to have a huge pressure on there. So hence you can use this as a glass breaker. It's got a lanyard hole on there. Now I've put a bit of climbing accessory static cord on here because I think this stuff's better than paracord. So I can carry it around my neck, and because that's not a spike, a regular ceramic spike, whether that's tungsten carbide or PSZ or something, you're not going to dig it into your neck. Also, you can carry this in your pocket without sticking a hole in your pocket. It's got a really good O-ring seal on there, and I've written a blog about this too, so you'll be able to read the blog. So there's the O-ring, nice cap on there, a good amount of milled surface for the O-ring, and in there at the moment I've just got some of these safety matches, but you could put, I'll just show you some of the things you could take in this. It depends on where you're going and what you're going to take into it, and we'll talk about those things in a second. Why would you want a waterproof container to take out into the wilds? I think waterproof containers in the wilds are one of the most important pieces of kit you can have in there, because some things you cannot afford to get wet. Maybe you kind of afford to get them crushed. Possibly some medications, like these particular drugs. They're in this blister pack, and it's got this orange coloring on there because they are light sensitive, and many medications are light sensitive. Now it's okay, it's relatively waterproof in this blister pack until this thin aluminium gets torn, but presumably you could put drugs inside of one of these things in there. The other thing you could do is you could carry a rechargeable battery in there, or a AA battery that easily fits inside there like that, and that would screw onto there like this. So you could do that. You could take matches, as I've already shown you, and a striker paper in there too if you felt that was important where you were going. Or alternatively, you could put some easily caught, maybe this could be soaked in some solvent or some kind of flammable material, some tinder that must be kept dry, or maybe you've got some solvent on it, so it will definitely ignite when you put a match or a flame or a cigarette lighter or a spark from a fire steel in there. What I wouldn't carry in here are torches that can fit in here, and I've got to have some torches, flashlights that do, because they're already generally probably waterproof, water resistant, and they're rigid. And I wouldn't carry things that don't need to, just don't need to be in a waterproof, crush-proof container, but things like drugs, batteries, matches, tinder that must be kept dry. Maybe you've got the guts out of a fire fungus, sheep's foot fungus. They're really good tinder, but it's no good when it's wet. It won't light when it's wet, but when it's dry it just goes and goes and goes, and that's a great tinder to carry, even better than maybe beeswax on cotton wool. There are other applications, by gripping this thing like that, it's pretty weighty, and using it in ways like this. Yeah, so other than that, so you've got an emergency glass breaker, you've got a waterproof container, which you can take all sorts of things in. And I think the things I would take in it, as I said, will be dependent on what kind of mission I was going on, what kind of outdoor trip rather I was going on, and and I want to put things in there which were definitely don't just have to be waterproof, because you could have them in a flimsy plastic bottle which is pretty waterproof, but it would not be too crush proof. This is crush proof. You could drive a car over it, drop it. And some other things I just thought I would mention, which I think in real emergency use, this has got quite a good lanyard connection on it here. You could use this with a bit of cord on it to throw around a branch of a tree to hoist a rope up with a smaller cord, all sorts of things like that. There's so many great uses for such a container like this. It's biocompatible, it's highly resistant to a marine environment and saline atmosphere, so in other words the sea, the salt water. Yeah, what can I say? Radops CIC, the CIC just stands for ceramic inserted capsule, meaning the ceramic ball. From Radops, CIC Bunker Buster from Radops. Totally love it, and I think it's a great piece of useful kit, a very strong, sturdy, waterproof titanium capsule to take away, you know, important things that need to be kept dry and crust-proof into the wilds, or even in an urban environment. Okay, Bush Camping Tools here. Thanks for watching.